Everybody Hates Rand is a Wheel of Time podcast that will contain spoilers for all 14 books. So if you're anti-spoiler, pause this, read all 14 books, and come back. We'll be here, waiting.
Our title is a joke and is meant to be taken as such. In the context of this podcast, everybody refers to us and our cat. You are free to feel however you want about Rand, who is a fictional character. Don't DM us.
The world is a mess, Dark One stretching out his hand. The dragon's reborn, the fire's been fanned, but everybody hates Rand. Everybody hates Rand. Everybody hates Rand.
Hello? Hello?
Hello?
I just noticed that Sally wrote on our fridge in our alphabet magnet, Sexy Knife Boy, which is how I've been referring to Diego Hargreaves for like 2 weeks.
I thought for a really long time about what would be as funny as buy art pop on iTunes, which is not very many things.
By Smart Pop on iTunes.
That's true. That was
pretty funny. Oh my god, we're just inside jokes. Oh, look at Tybalt gazing out into the...
I know. Tybalt has recently decided that he doesn't totally hate the great outdoors.
Yeah, well,
so now he wants
warm up a little bit. So.
The sliding door open all the time.
So it's also the birds are back,
yeah.
So now he can hear the birds.
Hear the birds, and his little feline instinct is like, eat.
Oh, I'm a kraken from the sea.
Durr, Sexy Knife Boy.
Durr, Sexy Knife Boy.
Okay, we...
Wow.
This is a classic opening.
Yeah, but this time we probably played our new theme song.
Probably.
Well, I can't predict how the editing will go.
Okay.
I only have so much time.
That's true. Emily's gotta edit this in Seattle.
Yeah, right. Like, I'm gonna edit this in Seattle. Like, my grandma would let me pull out a laptop and not immediately want to know what I'm doing.
What are
and
you
then
doing?
I'd have to be like, it's my podcast where I say, fuck, Grandma.
Emily.
Talk about sex.
Emily. Don't swear about the Ashcrafts. Okay.
Which Wheel of Time character most likely gets pegged?
Perrin.
You think? Yeah.
I feel like that's a radical and sexy opinion of me to have.
I think that was controversial and brave.
Either that or Gaul. I feel like Gaul would be into it.
Oh, Gaul would
love it.
Gaul has huge bottom energy.
Literally, just like physically large.
Yeah, he's just a big boy.
Okay. It's a big bottom.
Anyway,
Okay, I'm sorry. This is a bad way
God.
to lead into our
we just can't.
Okay.
Well, it already played is the way we're gonna do it.
I know, but just talking about it,
yeah,
I feel
okay.
like we should give it its due.
Yeah, do you want to go?
Guys, we're having a really hard time. Yes, I do want to go.
I'm sorry.
I don't know what's happening to either of us. Okay. I just can't look at Emily while I do this.
Well, I was thinking of like sad things to make myself stop laughing. So
Sad things.
yeah,
I just can't look at Emily for
it's
a
like
second.
what's the opposite of raindrops on roses and whiskers on kittens?
I don't know. A Taylor Swift song. Okay.
Fuck me
I'm
running.
So sorry. Okay, so this episode probably started with our new and wonderful theme song, which was written and composed by the wonderful Glyna Mackenzie. So thank you so much, Glyna, for our wonderful, jazzy, folksy new theme song that you guys can hear at the beginning of this episode. So I hope you didn't skip the beginning, little fuckers.
Yeah, how
dare you.
How fucking dare you?
Yeah,
Are you the type of person who just skips the first 4 minutes because you know we're not going to talk
We
about
know we're
anything
doing
related
this.
to Wheel of Time?
Well, joke's on you this time.
Fuck you.
Lots of new stuff to say.
Yes, Skipper.
Yeah.
Isn't that a restaurant? Like, is it obsolete? I feel like it's the type of place you got food poisoning. Skippers.
Yeah, I
It's
know.
not
It's
like a Long John
Hoppers.
Silver's. What?
Yeah.
Hoppers?
Hoppers.
We should go there with a painting of a wolf. I'm just hanging it up there.
Oh, we should. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize what you were doing. If you really liked our new theme song, which I hope you did, because it's really fun, you can find Glyna's EP on iTunes. It's called Ray, where she's got a couple more songs that you can listen to. Very exciting. Also, Glyndon, please let me know if I've got the right pronunciation. I know he asked, but if we're still bungling it, please let us know. We're going to be doing a fun Q&A with her. That'll be up on our blog, hopefully the day that this releases, which is Monday, March 11th. If not, look for it in the coming days where you can learn more about her and where you can find all of her music and all of her wonderful stuff. And adjacent to this, I wanted to send another major thank you to our patrons who, because you support us every month, we were able to give Glyna the money that she deserves for writing us such a wonderful thing and for giving the time and energy to doing that, and we were able to compensate her fairly and appropriately as opposed to just giving her our love, which is great, but you can't exchange it
what?
For goods and services.
Love can't be exchanged for goods and services?
No.
God damn.
In this household it can.
Oh, well, thanks.
But not in the real world, because it's a capitalist hellscape out there.
Okay.
What if we lived in a love barter economy?
I'd do really poorly.
I mean, you said it.
Yeah, well, I'm the first to admit. I know I have issues. I don't love easily. Why would I?
She doesn't even love me.
You're all strangers, and I've been in the customer service industry too long. I don't trust you.
Okay.
Well, on that note.
That was a fun and happy thing that just happened. On that note, this is the podcast.
This is the podcast. Welcome to Everybody Hates Rand, your friendly neighborhood Wheel of Time podcast. We're your hosts, Emily Jushaw.
And Sally Goodger.
Did you forget your name?
No, you're making a funny face.
Kind of always am making funny faces. Shows what my face looks like.
We're
Podcast.
trying.
We're trying, and we're gonna jump right into more Edgeween, which is less painful than Perrin, but still sort of painful.
I just think that every interaction that Swan Sanche has with a child should be illegal.
Yeah, should be. Should be monitored by the FBI.
Yeah, for her
I know,
child abuse.
This scene where she's like gazing out the window and she's like, the only people I can trust in this entire skyscraper are these two pubescent girls. And so I'm gonna have them literally go on a manhunt for 13 evil people.
Yeah.
Murderers, literally. 13 serial murderers. Just, chew on that.
Yeah, it's like Edwina is 17.
16, I think.
16.
No, maybe Elaine's 16 and Edwina's, I don't know.
Edwina is a baby child baby.
Edwina still has an age that ends with teen.
So, baby.
Yeah, and Nynaeve, is in her 20s, but pretty much acts like a 13-year-old, so clearly she's not really mature enough to be fighting crime.
Yeah.
We can all admit that, I think, and still appreciate Nynaeve as the beautiful character she is.
But she is an immature.
Yeah, she's not very mature. Very brave.
Very beautiful.
Very beautiful. Very powerful. She's just a muscly girl.
I know, Nynaeve, I would love if Nynaeve was just, like, fucking shredded.
Yeah.
The adaptation,
oh
they got, like, a bodybuilder, and she was just, like, fucking ripped.
She was just like, hello,
and she
I'm
loves
here,
wearing...
it's Ronda Rousey.
Yes!
Oh
and
my
she's
God.
just in her slutty, silky dresses, and was like, I could beat you the fuck up.
That would finally explain to me why she and Lan are a couple. Like, that would do it for me.
Yeah. Muscle see muscle.
Like, if they shared that interest.
CrossFit couple.
Anyway, anytime Swan's, like, doing her dumb monologuing out the window about how she can only trust girls or whatever, I'm like, when I was, like, the first time I read this, and probably even the second time I read this, I was just, like, cool with this. Because I was a teen myself. And so I was like, yeah, I don't really care what the excuse is. I just want these girls to get out of the nunnery and go, like, kick some ass.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, excuse me? This is awful.
Yeah.
This is, like, super bad. This is a crime.
Yeah, the first time I read it, I was 23. So there's no excuse. No, I'm saying there's no excuse for me, because I was also like, yeah, the White Tower is super boring. I don't want to see them go to classes for 7 books like I did in Harry Potter. Like, I want to go, it was fun when they were out, even though a bunch of traumatic things happened. So I was also like, oh yeah, this is totally fine, because this is what needs to happen for the plot. And then you think about it for 0.5 seconds, and you're like, no.
It's frustrating on a number of levels, because the only person in the entire series, I think I've talked about this before, who actually gets pissed about it is Gawain.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I absolutely hate to be on Gawain's side about literally anything. But fuck me, he's right.
Yeah.
This was totally irresponsible. And Siuan, did she deserve to get stilled and tortured? Absolutely not.
No.
Did she probably deserve to get ousted from her political position?
Yes.
Probably. Like, Siuan had a lot of fuck-ups in these last few books. It's just bad.
Yeah, she's not great. Not great as a politician.
Yeah. Yeah, like, it's so weird. I have such a hard time, like, coming to terms with who Siuan is as a character because the majority of the books focus on her after she's been, like, after she's had this traumatic thing happen to her. And although she's had points of view before that, most of her points of view are after that. And so it's just, like, she's not a totally different person. Like, she still has the same personality and mannerisms and everything. She's just in such a totally different situation, and it's, like, a situation where she makes more sense.
Yeah.
Narratively speaking.
Yeah.
These first few books that try to set her up as, like, this woman that all of our protagonists are just super afraid of and in awe of, it just, like, doesn't quite compute now that I, like, know.
Yeah.
In a way.
No, I was thinking that I like... And, like is such a terrible word to use because it doesn't... Unless it's Gawain, who I hate, and that's a valid opinion, is hate.
Yeah.
Like isn't necessarily the best way to form, like, an opinion of a character's arc. But, like, I do like Siuan better. Not after she's been stilled, but after she's not the Amyrlin, because she just, like, makes more sense as a character who's adjacent to power. Like, when she's able to, like, basically be a spy master and Edwin's
like,
advisor.
Edwin. Yeah. It's so much cooler.
It just, like, makes sense for her as a character.
It's like, I don't know. I think so much of that arc where what happens with the White Tower is such, like, a cool scene and such, like, an interesting set piece and a precursor for what happens later in the books. It's just, like, really interesting what happens, but it's, like, I'm coming to realize that, like, although what happens during and what happens after is really good, like, the before, the, like, build up to that doesn't, like, quite work.
Yeah.
And which, of course, then affects everything that comes after. Like, the White Tower having a schism doesn't really, like, make as much sense as it should, because our frame of reference for the White Tower is these girls who are in the White Tower for 5 minutes and then they leave again.
Yeah.
Like, and even if they were there for a long time, you know, they're not politically savvy enough to pick up on the shit that's going on.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just...
No, the breaking of the White Tower honestly didn't... I mean, it's coming from me, who has zero brain for any type of plot, be it history or whatever. But, like, it never made a lot of sense to me, like, why it was happening. I was just sort of like, oh, this is happening. And then in retrospect, I, like, can't even remember, like, what caused it. It was just like, okay.
Well, it's like, I think it's cool, because of the Papal Schism. Actually, there were multiple Papal Schisms.
Emily, tell us about Papal Schisms.
I can't. There was one where, like, 9 different people declared themselves Pope all at once.
Okay, but, like, imagine living in the time in...
I know. Imagine you're a 14th century peasant, and, like, 3 separate dudes have declared themselves the Pope, and you're just like, what the fuck?
Fuck me, I'm the Pope, too!
I can't even read. What's literacy?
Yeah.
The printing press? Who's that?
Don't know.
I have the plague. I'm gonna die in 2 years.
I just think that European history...
is whack.
For, like, 500 years there, just, like, went off the rails.
Yeah, pretty much everything Charlemagne did was just, like, an acid trip that I had in AP European history class.
Charlemagne probably was on acid,
Yeah,
which would explain why he did the things he did.
Probably everyone in France was on acid.
I think that's still true.
Yeah. God bless them. Do we have any French listeners?
If you're out there, France, we love you.
I do. I always looked forward to learning about you in AP European history.
Because you guys got the drama.
Yeah,
and
you guys
honestly,
bring it in terms of story.
Yeah, you guys are the real winners. You're like everyone's favorite gay uncle.
Yeah. Given you're nothing to China, but still good. That wasn't AP European history, though. China just has a really fascinating and dramatic history.
It's true. France is just, like, the funny drama history. Yeah. China's like, okay, let's get into that.
Oh, damn, let's talk about that.
God, now I want to just read about French history.
So savage. I was listening to a podcast all about how King Louis XIV, this is going to get a little graphic, guys.
Yes.
Not graphic in this way you think, in a really gross way. He had a fistula. Do you know what that is?
No.
It's basically A butt owie.
Oh, I do know what this is. Yes. I can't believe that's how you described it.
I couldn't think of more clinical terms. Butt owie is going to be the title of this podcast. I haven't even got to the funny part of the story.
You did. The story's over.
No, there's more to the story.
Okay.
Everyone knew about it, and a guy had to perform surgery on it to get rid of it. But surgery wasn't, like, a thing back in those days. Only, like, doctors weren't supposed to do surgery because it was considered, like, unclean and gross and, like, not a doctor thing. So you had these gross barber surgeons who were just, like, dudes who liked cutting things with knives.
Gross.
Anyway, they hired a barber surgeon, but first he had to practice. So he, like, practiced on, like, 140 people before he did the surgery on King Louis. And then everyone found out about it, and that's how fistulas became a fad.
What?
The French people were all like, yeah, I have a fistula, because King Louis XIV had one.
That's ridiculous.
No, it's true.
No, that can't be.
Justin
Listen,
and
I
Sydney
know I said
McElroy told
France
me.
is dramatic, but there's no way any
happened.
country could be that dramatic who was like, I have a fake butt owie.
Yeah.
Because the king does.
Operate on me, doctor. And that's how France got kinky.
I feel like France was born kinky.
Yeah, I feel like you're right.
God was like, and this is my kinky country.
God was like, and I'm just going to put all the weird sex stuff right here.
Yeah, and Julius Caesar saw that and was like, want it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how he conquered Gaul.
Hey, you've been so good. Don't come out. Just you're gonna bother me.
And I can't believe this episode.
I can't believe we got to this point. What were we talking about?
Let's go backwards.
Papal
Fistula,
schisms. That's how we got here.
Papal schism, European history, the White Tower, Swan Sanche.
Mostly what I like about that scene is always, like, the actual reading experience, because it's a very, like, creepy, like, very well-written sequence, in my opinion. Just, like, men running around, having no idea what's going on, and just, like, running around corners, and various people, like, coming out of the woodwork covered in blood or whatever.
Yeah, I think it was a really smart narrative decision to have that come from Min's point of view.
Yeah, it's cool. But then the detriment is then we don't really know what's going on.
Yeah.
And I just don't know if he, like, was like, I'm not going to commit to the real political stuff until after it happens, because it doesn't make sense for me to get really into the White Tower politics yet. And, you know, plus it's kind of like a historical thing. These things happen and no one really knows why they happened.
Yeah.
It's just, like, bullshit politics.
Petty drama.
But then it's like, if you're gonna have Siuan be one of your main point of view characters, and I think she does kind of, you know, promote herself to a, we have, like, God tier, that's the main six, and then, like, secondary tier.
Angel tier.
Yeah.
God tier, angel tier.
Siuan's, like, a secondary tier
Devil
character.
tier.
Like, secondary to Edwene and a few other people. And it's just like, when you have her point of view, it, like, doesn't make sense that we don't get more context.
Yeah.
Except various people's grievances with her. Where it's like, okay, yeah, gay win.
Again, understandable, unfortunately.
Yeah, but then no one else really reacts to it, because the Aes Sedai theory is that if you're a woman and you've, I don't know, done two things with magic, then you're suddenly... It's so weird, the, like, false dichotomy of how they treat novices as child, but then nobody is really upset about what happens here.
Yeah.
And, like, generally just, like, the treatment of novices in terms of, like, maturity.
Yeah, it's just very bizarre.
One of those weird things.
I just don't, again, Swan Sanche should not be allowed to speak to children.
I know, I'm just like, girl, stop.
Don't do it. You don't know how.
Girl, yeah, no. Anyway, we haven't even talked about the plot. The plot is that Edwene and Elaine are talking through their wall, which is, like, so gay. And then...
Correct.
Edwene's like, I don't know what's gonna happen, but I am not gonna get stilled. I'm gonna run away before that happens to me. And Elaine's like, yeah, will you teach me how to be a poor peasant, Edwene? And Edwene's like, yeah, sure, I guess. Can't we go to your mom? And Elaine's like, no, I can't really rely on my mom to protect me, her child. Which is wild.
Elaine is dumb.
Elaine is literally the stupidest character of all time. I had a really savage burn on Elaine in my most recent blog, just so you know.
And that's what you say.
Well, I said I didn't like the insinuation that Elaine is M. that when Elaine's pregnant, she's emotionally unstable and unable to rule. I was like, don't get it twisted. Elaine was emotionally unstable long before she got pregnant. Homegirl should not be running a country.
True.
Anyway, then they basically get taken to Siuan's office, who, with Leanne as witness, is like, here's how we're gonna punish you. A, you are gonna get strapped.
Switched.
Whatever. You're gonna get switched a whole lot. You're gonna get spanked, whatever. Just weird, kinky, white tower. Eh.
This was when the Pope was in France.
Yeah, this was...
Didn't that happen?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's one of the people's systems.
Cool. Glad I remembered one thing.
And like, you're gonna get switched. Also, we are just publicly humiliating you, so everyone knows that this happened. And we're going to, you know, like, you have to work in the kitchen scrubbing pots for a little while. Is that cool with you, Elaine? Are you gonna faint? And Elaine's like, yes. It's like, labor? I've never heard of her.
I don't know how to do a pot.
I don't know what that is.
How do you clean a pot?
I know.
You spit on it?
Gross. And then Siuan's like, and by the way, I have to raise you two as accepted. And they're like, okay, well, that doesn't really seem like a punishment. And she's like, psych, it is a punishment, because being an accepted sucks. And then Eve in the background is like, yeah, it does.
True. It's like your
really
junior year of college.
It does suck. And that's pretty, like, that's it for that chapter.
Yeah, it's a really weird chapter where Siuan's basically like, fuck you.
Fuck you.
Fucking perish, teens.
And Eve's like, we weren't runaways. And Siuan's like, I don't care. Yeah, then Elaine leaves and Siuan's like, now I can truly speak my feelings to you two, my dearest confidants.
It's very weird.
Spoken to you once.
Yeah.
The only conversation, I was just thinking about this, the only conversation Siuan has with one of our main characters as the Amerlin that, like, makes sense to me, like, in terms of who she is afterwards, is the conversation she has with Matt right when he wakes up. It's just, like, a very, like, Siuan and Matt conversation. They're funny characters together.
God, I love that Matt boy.
I do, too.
Too bad they're just letting him linger in his disease.
His deathbed, for God's sake.
He'll be fine.
He'll be fine, probably. Everyone's
Maybe.
like, no. What are you talking about?
Someone's like, I don't have the energy to think about a dying teenage boy. I have to look out this window for 4 minutes.
What is Siuan doing besides looking out windows?
That's it.
We don't see her doing any work.
That's all she does.
I don't want to, like, get really savage on Siuan, but what the fuck are you doing to, like, help the world, you know? It's just sitting there doing nonsense.
Looking out, waving through a window.
Waving through a window. So then...
She got distracted thinking of Dear Evan Hansen.
I was thinking about Sincerely Me.
I was too. It's okay.
That's such a funny song. Okay,
if I stop smoking
then everything will be alright.
Smoking drugs.
Shut up.
Stop this podcast and listen to that song. It's really funny.
Yeah, I don't listen to the rest of the soundtrack because it kind of sucks.
My favorite line is, dude, I'm proud of you. I think that was really up-tuned.
No, that was great.
It wasn't, but I appreciate the compliment, Emily.
Beautiful.
I'm a good singer.
I'm a good singer. Shakira.
Oh, baby, when you talk like that. Why did this become a musical podcast?
I don't know.
When did that start?
What the fuck is happening with us right now? I don't know what led to this energy. I don't know why we're here. We just have a normal day. What's happening? Oh, God, he's so stupid. There he goes.
There she goes.
Stop. We have to stop singing.
There she goes.
No singing at the dinner table.
Are we gonna have to make a rule?
Yeah.
No singing at the dinner table?
Yeah. Not that
That'd
we
be
eat dinner.
So sad. I mean, sometimes I do. Usually I eat it on the couch after kicking my cat in the head. He keeps trying to eat my sandwich.
Okay, so after Siuan's like, here you are, my two most trusted confidants, what I'm actually going to do is have you hunt the black... First, Nynaeve's like, listen, we only got tricked by Leandrin because she is Black Aja. And Siuan's like, do you think I'm stupid? I fucking know that. As soon as she and 12 other people murdered and left the tower, I knew they were Black Aja. And it's like, Siuan, you could have known earlier.
If you were doing anything besides looking out your window.
Yeah, and also you just trusted any instinct that you had. Leandrin is the skeeziest character of all time.
I'm just saying, there's a serial killer radar, and Leandrin checks all the boxes.
Yeah, she does. She do.
She just gives off that. She gives the heebie-jeebies. She's got nothing else to give.
Yeah. What?
It's from that Troubled Birds book.
Oh.
Like, I gave them the heebie-jeebies. I have nothing else to give. That's Leandrin.
Yeah, Leandrin is the worst. And Swan's just like, yeah, just let her do her thing and kidnap you guys. It's just like, I'm gonna blame it all on you. But, like, I also could have been a little bit responsible. Consider that.
Yes. Be responsible for the people under your Vatican.
Okay. Anyway, she's all like, it's so weird because she doesn't phrase it like a request. She's like, I'm going to have you do this thing where I'm going to give you the list of names and a list of the items that were stolen, and I want you guys to hunt these women. And it's like, that's such a nebulous term.
Yeah.
Like, this isn't 2019. They can't just do, like, PI work, you know?
Yeah.
There's no paper trail for them to follow. How the fuck are you going to find these people?
Can't track their credit card info.
Yeah, and it's like, Swan, what makes you think that if you can't do something, like, these two girls can?
She's like, no one will suspect you. And I'm like, doesn't mean they're going to be effective.
Yeah, that's not the main issue.
Yeah.
Whether or not someone suspects them is beside the point. You have this army of... Her whole thing is she's like, I can't really trust anyone. And it's, like, ironic because a few of the people she lists, she's like, I could probably trust Shiriam. You can't trust Shiriam, actually. You can't... Well, you can technically trust Varen, but she also is technically Black Aja. So, like, I just don't know. Like, I can see how you would get to this, like, weird headspace of, like, paranoia and, like, I literally can't trust anyone. I mean, that would maybe be where you'd go after a mass murder in your Vatican. But also, it's just, so the solution you reach is... Children, really young women, untrained women.
Yeah, and it's got this, like, weird innocence aspect to it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like they're young. I think innocence, like William Blake's innocence versus experience.
Yeah.
Path that apparently all of us are on.
Mm-hmm.
Which is like, William, stop smoking drugs in your garden. I love William Blake so much. What a crazy lunatic.
I know, he was a crazy lunatic, though.
But yeah, this idea that their, like, innocence is assumed. And it's not just because they're young. Their innocence is assumed for a variety of reasons.
Yeah, they're all virgins, for one thing.
That's also true. Swan was like, gotta perform the virginity test, which isn't even a real thing. Please don't ever... We don't have time to do sex ed on EHR. But the hymen is not an indicator of virginity.
Yeah.
If I hear that one more time, I'm gonna clock you.
Yeah.
Right in the orbital bone.
Right.
Right here.
With you. I know what the orbital bone was when you told it.
It's because you're good at anatomy. You've been listening to Sawbones with Justin and Cindy McElroy.
I listen to Sawbones with Justin and Cindy McElroy, and Justin, like, plays dumb on a lot of things, and it's, like, shocking how often I'm right there with him, not playing dumb, just being dumb.
Yeah, I don't know how medicine works.
Yeah, me neither. I'm like, what the fuck? What the fucking? Okay, anyway.
The hap is fucking.
Yeah, so there's, like, this weird... Like, it all works in terms of a hero's journey, you know? Like, having an older mentor figure who, like, sends you out into the world, and yeah, you're kind of, like... entrusted because they're young and innocent. Like, there's sort of just this, like, assumption that you'll be fine.
Yeah, or that you're somehow resistant to corruption.
Yeah.
Like, you haven't had enough life experience to be corrupted, and therefore, like, your innocence and therefore your goodness is insured.
Yeah.
It's a very interesting sort of, like, implication in the hero's journey that I don't think people talk about enough.
Yeah. It's just, I don't know, innocence is such, like, a weird, like power to, like... label any of your heroes with. It's like, I think of the Chronicles of Narnia, that's like, here are the Pevensey children, and they're all, like, so innocent and pure, and it's like, no, one of them was, like, you know, the symbolic representation of Judas, so it's like...
I'll sell my children, my brothers, for some Turkish delight.
Yeah, I'll sell my siblings.
There's 4 of them, right?
Yeah.
Why did I think there was 6 for a second?
Whoa.
That was weird. I don't know. I think I'm thinking of the Umbrella Academy, to be honest.
Sort of Narnia. Anyway, it's just like, it's, I don't know, it speaks to a larger societal problem where we're, like, teenagers and children, you know, are like, I don't know, you have to protect things in teenagers and children. You have to protect, quote unquote, their innocence, but really what we're protecting them from is, like, having to do things that they shouldn't have to do.
Yeah.
Before you're an adult. And it's like, but that doesn't mean that children and teenagers are necessarily, like, that we should put them on a pedestal of being, like, paragons of moral virtue.
Because they're children.
Yeah, because they're little people.
Like, what do they know? They're learning how the world works. They can't, you know, not saying you can't have evil children. I don't know. It's a ridiculous moral conversation that we're having.
Who cares?
But, yeah, you shouldn't just assume, like, you shouldn't put anybody on a pedestal. I think you've talked about that before, how putting someone on a pedestal is akin to torture because both of them remove agency completely from the person involved.
It's just bad.
So anyway, like, genre is a whole thing, and there's a really interesting conversation going on about the young adult genre and how it's, like, skewing towards adult themes and adult content, though while still having the characters be aged as if they are young adults, like 16, 17, and that's, like, a really interesting conversation about where we draw the line between, like, young adult, because there's this new genre, new adult, or something like that, where that's meant to be this sort of, like, middle space that, like, I think really it's the publishers that are hesitant to, like, try to market and publish a new genre, so they're just, like, sticking things in YA that shouldn't be there.
Yeah.
I don't know how we got on this subject of publishing, but it's just, like, I'm just tired of seeing... Sorry, Emily's punishing the cat, so I guess I should not make my point. What? Fully, until she can respond to it. He's in my room trying to climb the blinds because he's a little fuck. But the end of my thought is that I just wish we could let the 17-year-old kids in these stories just, like, go to high school and not have to save the world. Like,
it's not a very fun story to have Edwina stay in the White Tower and finish her education.
Yeah.
But it's what she deserves.
It is what she deserves.
Especially after the, like, horrible trauma of what happened to her in book 2. And it's like, this weird thing of, in the hero's journey, this mentor asking them to do this would be, like, the first major, like, step into the outside world.
Yeah.
You know? But instead, that narrative is kind of ruined because they've already had this happen to them. Mm-hmm. And then, like, it turned out terribly. Like, think about it, this exact same thing happened. Like, literally the last book, Leandrin was like, you fools, the Black Aja are everywhere and you need to come with me, or
they'll eat you.
Yeah, or they'll eat you, or whatever.
Hey, could you be normal? Our cat is trying to hit Emily in the nose.
Thank you. Thank you. What's happening?
You guys, I can't wait for my exhibition that's just photos of Emily holding Tybalt.
Withdraw your claws.
They're all so good.
Okay.
Emily looked very pretty today.
Thank you.
So yeah, I did go very poorly when Leandrin was like, fly, you fools.
Yeah, it's just like, I just don't even know what to say about this. It's just like, Robert Jordan wrote himself into a corner here.
Yeah.
And it happens, I guess.
Yeah. It's just like, I wish they just, like, would not have returned. Like, I know Matt had to go to the White Tower.
Yeah.
But it's like, I wish the girls would have just sort of, like, skirted this weird point where they're there.
Yeah, where they're
just,
there
like,
and, like,
continued.
They need to, like, pick up some knowledge. Like,
yeah.
Edwin gets the ring, the Terangriel ring.
Yeah.
And it's like, this gives them, like, a purpose to be doing stuff and to, like, have a separate agenda from the boys. But it's just, like, then it feels like a secondary agenda, you know? When I just want them to be involved in the primary plot. Mm-hmm. So, but then again, if we didn't have this, we wouldn't have Matt literally running through the streets of Tyr, being like, I have to rescue some girls.
Yeah. Have you seen my girls?
Have you seen my girls?
There's 3 of them.
Have you seen my dad?
Have you seen my dad?
No,
I haven't seen Chris in a while. How is he?
He's okay, I think. I don't know.
Is he stressed?
Probably.
It's tax season.
Right. Well, he's not really an accountant anymore. Oh.
I mean, I know. It's stressing me out.
Yeah, me too.
I'd probably have to pay a bunch of taxes.
No, I have to think about that. Fuck.
Remember, if you're in the United States, remember to pay your taxes by April 15th. It's tax day. What else could be stressing Chris out?
Oh, I don't
The environment.
know. Unlikely. He's stupid that way.
Okay, what else is there to say? Swan is a bad mentor.
Swan is a terrible manager, and yeah, Elaine is like not included in this because she's like, I don't want to piss off more goss, but then 5 minutes later when they're like, yeah, so we looped Elaine in, Swan's like, okay.
Yeah, Swan gives them these like magic hall passes.
Oh my god, that's so true.
That can like get them wherever they need to go.
What happens to these? They give one to Matt, and then they
Which
take
is
that one.
so funny.
I know. He's
Imagine
like,
giving Matt the key to the city.
He's like, what the fuck have you done?
Even Matt's like, don't give this to me.
Matt's like, this is too much power. You know I'll abuse this.
No one man should have all that power.
Then they take it back from him in book 4.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And
Poor
then
Matt.
I think they have. I'm just like, what happens to
I
this?
think at some point they don't need to use them anymore.
Yeah, they're just like, we just,
Now we just punch people.
now we just talk our way into every situation. We're like, we're Aes Sedai, look, we have the rings. And everyone's like, you're not Aes Sedai. And they're like, but we also have the arrogance. And they're like, oh, you are
They're
Aes
like,
Sedai.
I'm so foolish.
Wow. Wow.
Wow.
Anyway, yeah, this magical hall pass is really hilarious.
I know, where it's like, do whatever the fuck you want.
It's also just, like, another, like, hero's journey thing of, like, the mentor giving them, like, a sort of totem or, like, something to help them along
Magical
their journeys.
Item.
Yeah, you always get a few things to help you as you go. And it's just, like, this sequence is so extended when in a children's novel, it would be about 2 pages.
Yeah.
Swan hands them the hall pass, Varen hands them the ring, whatever they
And
need.
they'd be like, all right.
They get their accepted rings and off they go.
Off they go. Yeah, so and it is, like, in terms of the hero's journey, you think of all the boys get weapons, and the girls get tools, and that's, again, this, like, interesting gender dynamic
yeah.
that's happening.
I know, yeah, we should have a whole episode where we talk about their various, like, the things that they get.
Yeah.
That are, like,
Be a
their
fun
symbols.
episode.
Yeah.
We should do that.
Yeah, we should.
When we need a break from Dragon Reborn analysis, we'll slip
Seems
slip that in
unlikely.
there.
I fucking love the Dragon
I know, that's maybe when we need a break from the Shadow Rising nonsense.
That would fit, actually, because that's when Matt gets his weapon.
Yeah, and that's when, yeah. We'll stick it in the middle of that insufferably long parent sequence, where parents like, oh, my whole family died, but I got married, and now I'm the ruler of this weird little village.
And everyone's like, okay. This might as well happen.
Yeah, and it just takes about 700 pages too long.
I know.
So, anyway, yeah, so then the girls are off to their studies, sort of.
Yeah, I think, like, when we pick up next week, they'll have, like, it's so weird, because this takes so long, but it also all happens so fast.
Yeah.
In terms of it all happens in basically the same day. You know, they're going to be going back to their dorm, and then they almost get assassinated by a gray man. Yeah.
Every time I hear a gray man, I just think of Mr. Grey and the Raven Cycle. I mean, they're
What is with
basically the
Grey?
same characters.
They're, like, being assassins. I don't know. There must be some mythological context to that.
Think about
I'll
that
look,
one.
Yeah, I'll look it up.
Just
Anyway.
some Googling, Emily.
Okay. Then they chat with Aleda, and then they're like, okay, and now let's watch Matt get healed. And then, like, that's all one day.
At least Matt gets healed that day.
Yeah, finally.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, and Eve's like, how's Matt doing? Does he have time? And Swan's like, no, he's dying. Get the fuck out of my office. And Nynaeve's like, okay.
Are you gonna do anything about that? And Swan's like, no, I have to look out this window.
Swan's like, no, I'm super busy being angsty.
I mean, as Hamlet will tell you, angst is a full-time job.
Yeah. Clearly. Angst and non-productivity go hand in hand, as we know. Anyway, it's kind of like it's a short couple of chapters, and
Yeah.
not much happens, but it's, like, important.
But we still managed to talk about it for 40 minutes.
Yeah.
Mostly we talked about
The People Schism. And King Louis's butt owie. You're welcome.
I'm not thankful.
Yeah, now you have to think about that for the rest of your life.
I won't.
Okay,
I have no memory. I'm like a goldfish.
do you have any housekeeping besides what we said at the top?
Oh, I wanted to say thank you to Al and Rob, who answered the call last week and gave us some amazing
Oh yeah,
Larry
that's
the
so
Good Trolloc art.
Oh, man.
Which I love. That's so good. Oh, and I also wanted to give a thank you to our new February and March patrons. It's only March 6th, but we do have a new one, so shout out to you,
Oh,
Sarah,
yeah.
and Sam and Peter and Ethan, who supported us on Patreon in February, and hopefully continue, not just February, but
I mean, if you can just do February, we accept that.
we do accept that. We
Yeah,
will
it's
accept
okay.
anything.
Yeah, any help you can give us.
Any help you can give us. And a new feature of our sign-offs, thank you to Glenn and Mackenzie for a wonderful new theme song.
Yeah, this has been EHR Podcast. Sign us off.
Today, one of my coworkers he used to work at the one and only theme park in Utah. Yeah, the infamous Lagoon.
No.
He was in charge of food services for 16 years, so he saw some shit.
No.
And I was like, Jeff, give me a horror story. And he was like, I want to tell you about
this is Jeff.
Yeah, I know, right?
I love Jeff.
I know, Jeff is amazing. And Jeff was like, there are so many to pick from. I don't even know which one to choose right now.
Tell me.
But Jeff was like, one time, there was something called Nipple Whip.
What?
Which was like the Watergate of where he walked in and a teenager just had her like full titty out and there was like whipped cream on her nipple. And Jeff had to be like, button up, come with me, you're fired.
This was an employee?
Yeah, it was one of the teens.
I thought you meant just like a customer person. Rando in Lagoon.
Just like in the break room or whatever.
Oh my god.
Yeah, Lagoon is a fucking nightmare.
Nipple whip.
Nipple Whip, like Watergate.
Oh my god.
It was Nipple Whip.
Wow, enjoy. Wow.
What a weird episode this has been.
Okay,
Thanks for tuning in.
See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.